Hi guys, and welcome to this technology show and fly past. As you can probably tell, I'm in creative to show something that Brian and I created over the last night, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure life's a bit bonkers around here. Now, in episode 131, I go into the end, and after quite a bit of running around, I find shulkers, and I have my first shulker box. So I was talking about this with Brian, and he told me a few of the qualities of the shulker box. And yeah, you know me, I can't settle down until I've had a go at something. So yeah, we had to go with something. Once I'd got the basics done, I called Brian, and he came over and we started to work on it for a bit. Obviously there were issues and tests and all sorts of other stuff that we had to run, but eventually we came up with a bit of a design. Now this is the latest version over here. I had a bit of a debate with myself as to where to put it. Now we're going to be using this in conjunction with the Cookie Monster, previously known as the Beast. And let's just move this a little. And yeah, I was going to put it in an area on its own, and then I thought, nah, it belongs next to here. I'm not going to integrate it into that because it would be just too much arsing around. So instead I put it with these. Now, the shulker box. Apparently, if a piston hits it, it itemizes, which means that it and its contents go down. And if you're using a dispenser rather than the usual droppers that we use for the upward layers, then pretty much it spawns it into an actual box. So here we have a large chest which serves as the input to go down to the collection bay, and then we have this, which is the shulker box, and here you can see what we've got. Now we're going to go through a couple of things because there's a few layers to this, and we're going to go through them bit by bit. So the first thing I'm going to do is send the shulker box down with nothing waiting to be collected, and as you can probably see, that last hopper has a signal which comes up here, so if there's something waiting to be collected, these lights go on. So we're just going to send it down with nothing in the system. Piston itemizes it, it goes down, it enters there, and then comes back up, donk, with its contents. So now this time I'm going to put all the contents in here, and you can see that we've now got light, which means there's something down there to collect. So I'm going to push the button and down it goes. It goes down here to this dispenser, which dispenses it in here. Then it gets filled by whatever's in here, and then once that is fully filled, or rather the hopper's empty, that's the signal for the piston to itemize it, and it comes all the way back up here again. Donk. Now what I'm going to do is give it something to chew on while we're talking. A few things that we discovered. First of all, because the shulker box interacts with hoppers, you can't have it directly on top of a hopper because it'll empty its contents. And also, if you try and attack it from the side, there's a chance that it won't get collected after being itemized. So pushing it downwards seems to be the most reliable way to get it to itemize and down into a hopper. Hence we've got this gap of 1 here. So that's happily working away. I'm just going to empty that now. Right, there it goes, itemized, and up it comes. Donk, with all the bits and pieces. Right, so the other thing is when it's itemized or brought back into being from the dispensers. I've got to get my dispensers and droppers right, otherwise I'm screwed. If the dispenser, if there's something underneath it, the shulker box comes up vertical, so it tries to open up, and in this circumstance it can't because the piston's above it. But if there's a gap below it, it comes sideways, so you can open it like that. Haha, beautiful, huh? Right, so what is all this wiring about? Well, you can probably tell that normally the piston is on, so when there's nothing in here, the piston is on and it's in itemize mode. As you can see, the gap there. Now, when there's items there and waiting for it, that triggers this, which takes off the NOT gate, which powers this and then powers that. We had to do it this way because of being close to the hoppers. It caused trouble in terms of it seemed as if the extended piston was also transmitting its power to the blocks next to it, which caused trouble. But there you go. So with items ready, the shulker box can come down here and be recreated into this space. Then the hopper can fill it up. Then once the hopper is empty, that's it, the signal gets reversed and the piston goes just like this. Shulker box, boom, down. Now, as you can probably tell, what happens if the piston is down, so there's nothing here for the shulker box to collect when it's sent down. That's where this comes into play. The dispenser, when it's got something in it, will create a tick. That goes immediately through a repeater for amplification. You'll note that there's a 3-stage activity that's got to happen. The first thing is through a repeater that's off, or at minimum, to trigger that NOT gate to pull the piston back up. Then we go through this repeater, which is at 2 ticks, or is it? Well, it's at 1 tick. We'll try that. And then that, what that does is fire the dispenser to get the shulker box out. Now this has also been kept on, and we're just going to try this on a 3rd tick to see what happens, because this maintains the power but then cuts the power off, if you know what I mean. So when this starts keeping the piston up, there's also redstone signal going through here to maintain that signal. This eventually drops off and then the piston is free to fall again, sending the shulker box back up. So we're just going to test this with these timings. I think that worked. Yes, it did. Cool. Now, that's the shulker box. So as you can probably see, when there's items ready to come up, you just send the shulker box to get them, rather than having this ticking like crazy all the time and causing lag. There's been a little bit of an adjustment here in terms of the space that this is taking up. We have the usual timer, and that timer, I've tried to search for alternatives, but I can't really get anything that's smaller but still adjustable to fair periods of time, if you know what I mean. And that feeds into this, which uses a bit less redstone. So we have just 2 blocks here, no redstone on the top, you'll notice, but a torch there and a 1 tick there, which is then picked up by the redstone. And you've got to watch to make sure that that is actually directional into this, because then that just makes the tick, which then throws that up. And as usual, the whole thing is regulated by how much cobblestone is in there. Just to be safe, I'll give it 5. So, yeah, that's pretty much how it all hangs together. The big problem, of course, is going to be constructing this in survival in the actual world. Yeah. So, the other thing we're going to do is a fly past. So I'm going to MVTP into single, and I'm going to TP to the rough coordinates, which is -3102. We're going to go high up in the air to make sure we're safe, and that's 2429. Those are actually the coordinates of the slime area downstairs. So as you can see up top, there's nothing much new, but chunks of things have happened down around here. There's been a few changes around here. I've noticed also in episode 313 some adjustments that I make to put a new section in cause a bit of wiring trouble. I've got to revisit that, but it's pretty much as sorted. You'll notice that there's a hole here. I think you may already know about that hole. And in fact, you may already know that yes, I've been to the end. And I've got all this down now. I've stepped it all down. We have the fishing area there. And these boxes down here in another area. Yeah, it's a bit messy because of the space, pretty much. I put a ladder here, which is down to here. You may already know about that. And, oh blimey, there's a bit of a storm. Nothing much new about there, but as you can probably guess, there's a lot of work that I've got to do now to shuffle things around and include the shulker mechanism in here. Yeah, that's going to be fun. What's going to be particularly awkward is the furnace side of things, to get things back up there. Yeah, that's going to be awkward as well. Still, yeah. What I want to do is create... Oh, you can see that there's chests in the middle of the line here. That, again, was after something that Brian J told me. And, yeah. That's going to be interesting. In other areas... can I get down from here? No, because I've put glass everywhere. That's going to be interesting, isn't it? So I'm going to have to shift some positioning of a few things. I think I've got an idea of what I want to do, but it'll come eventually. I also want to create a furnace, well, not a furnace, a trash area. Ouch. A trash area that just allows me to toss things in there effectively. So I've got to work out something up here that can just filter down. Oh, hello, Enderman. Oh, don't leave. Oh, what do I care? This is the single player world. You'll see a few extra bits and pieces among them. I think you may know about that, you may not. It looks dark, but we've got plenty of stuff here keeping the light level high. 2 chickenators, and that's the upward thing. that's only half a safety. Yeah, that's the tick. I gotta redesign this because it's only a partial safety in here. Oh, the other thing about back with the shulker box thing is because there's only one item, I don't need the safety. Unfortunately, when it comes to multiple items that are arriving at odd intervals, yeah, need the safety. And yeah, so there's still a few bits and pieces to go. I want to build the cow farm here, and then the sugarcane thing here. In amongst all that, I want to put beneath all this somehow, I want to put the mob spawner thing. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. Brian J has given me some ideas on that in terms of making the kill easier, which is using water to bring the mobs up from below and then the kill box at the top. That's going to be a bit of work. The other thing that you can probably see, I don't think you've seen any of this. This is the farm. Yep, we've pretty much cultivated everything in here. Had a few floods as I worked all this out, because as you can see we're at water level, so that was a bit awkward. I had a few issues with automating this. Yeah, I had to resort to some wiring trickery. That I haven't blocked off yet. But down here is the new tree farm. Ooh, they sprouted. Yes, that will require a bit of explanation, and I'm not going to spoil everything for you. So yeah, it took a chunk of work. Ultimately, yeah, sections of this are going to have to be redesigned, reworked. Yeah, all going to be fun-ish. Not really, but yeah. So, let's just have an external flyby, just for the hell of it. I think you've seen that this has been repositioned and all that good stuff. Ooh, hello witch. Yeah, witches are not my favourite, as you'll find out in some later episodes. So there you have it. A quick fly around so you can see what's coming up in later episodes. Yeah, redesigning all this is probably going to have to happen, because to put the shulker mechanisms in here and alter the furnacing is going to be a bit interesting, to put it mildly. Especially trying to cram everything into that space. Yeah, that's not going to be much fun. So, yeah, that's how things stand at the moment. Still quite a bit of fun was had in mining all that out, and some of the surprises that waited in store. Yeah, right. I do like the way that this looks in the night. I do like it. That glass, when merged with the diorite, yay, just looks cool. Right, so there you have it. I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.